Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're zeroing in on a specific set of sources.
That's right. We've got some excerpts here from a piece called Social Media, Teaching the Baha'i Faith Digitally.
And our mission, really, is to unpack what these sources tell us about how the Baha'i Faith views and, well, uses digital technology today.
Yeah, how they're spreading their message. We want to get into the core ideas, maybe some surprising analogies they use, and the sort of practical side of it all.
And why focus on this? Well, it gives us a really fascinating window into how a global faith tradition is adapting to the digital age.
It really does. And the sources frame social media in a way that's, well, it's pretty unexpected.
Yeah, not just as, a handy tool. They talk about it as a divine instrument.
And even connected to prophecy fulfillment. It's quite a claim.
Okay, so let's get right into that. So one of the biggest ideas right off the bat is this framing of social media.
Not just a tool, but the tool for this age.
Kind of. They call it a divine instrument, given by God, they believe, specifically now, with all this tech advancement, to spread Baha'u'llah's message globally.
That's a really significant starting point.
Yeah.
And it immediately sets up a contrast with, the traditional ways.
Like going door to door or traveling.
Exactly. The sources really emphasize how these digital platforms just explode the reach. They explicitly say you can reach millions with a single post, video, or live discussion.
Millions. Just think about that scale difference for a moment.
It's massive. And here's where it gets, like you said, really interesting, the prophecy connection.
Right. The sources point out that Baha'u'lláh himself foretold that means of communication will acquire extraordinary speed.
And they see today's social media as basically that prediction coming true.
So it's not just adapting, it's seeing the technology itself as part of a foreseen divine plan.
Precisely. And then they get practical about it. They list specific tools.
Okay, like what?
Well, YouTube for sharing discussions, talks, maybe documentaries.
Makes sense. And Facebook and Instagram.
More for community engagement, fostering those, meaningful conversations.
Right. And they even mention things like podcasts and TikTok.
Yeah, for shorter, maybe more impactful messages, they note the potential for virality there.
Huh. Interesting. And online classes, too.
Definitely. Using things like Zoom for global study circles, devotionals, connecting people across borders.
And the underlying idea is that this isn't just luck or clever human invention alone.
No, the sources use the term divine providence. The idea is these tools were provided to humanity for this purpose to help unite the world and teach on an unprecedented scale.
Okay, so to help explain the shift, they use an analogy.
They do. It's quite striking. The cyber house of worship.
Cyber house of worship. Okay, explain that.
Well, traditionally, Baha'is have often used their homes for informal gatherings called firesides to welcome people interested in the faith.
Right, I've heard of those.
So the analogy positions social media as a sort of modern digital version of that, a cyber home.
A place to welcome people online?
Exactly. And this cyber home, according to the sources, lets you welcome seekers globally, no physical barriers.
No passports needed.
Right. It allows for sharing uplifting content, things people can explore on their own time, encouraging that independent investigation.
And engaging in dialogue without feeling pressured, is that the idea?
That seems to be the goal, yes. Dialogue, not dogma.
They give an example of this power, don't they?
I do. And it really highlights the scale. They say a single YouTube video can reach thousands in minutes.
Thousands in minutes.
And they contrast that directly with how long it would take, through traditional means, years of travel and visits, to reach that many people so quickly.
Wow. That comparison, it really lands, doesn't it? Minutes versus years.
It does. And they see this huge shift as adapting methods to the needs of the time.
A key Baha'i principle, adapting to the age. They link this back to Shoghi Effendi, right?
Yes, the guardian of the faith. It's about adjusting how things are done based on current reality.
So instead of waiting for maybe a monthly in-person event,
you can have a Facebook Live discussion tonight.
Instead of complex travel for a study group.
You could join a WhatsApp group with people from, 3 different continents.
And moving beyond just print.
Instantly share ebooks, infographics, videos. It's about leveraging that immediacy and borderless nature.
Which ties into another core Baha'i teaching mentioned in the sources, the independent investigation of truth.
Absolutely central. Baha'u'lláh emphasized that each person must search for truth themselves.
No relying blindly on clergy or tradition.
Right. And these sources argue that technology is a massive enabler for this principle.
How so?
Well, instant access. You can find Baha'i writings, watch talks, join discussions, all online immediately.
And you can ask questions directly, like in comment sections or forums.
Exactly. You can engage firsthand, explore your own questions. The sources suggest this democratizes information access, too.
Taking away any sort of clergy-like control over information?
That's the idea presented, yes. Making knowledge widely available for that personal investigation.
But it's not just about the power, is it? There's a responsibility aspect.
Oh, definitely. They stress this. With this power comes what they call a sacred duty.
A sacred duty, meaning?
Meaning these tools, while amazing, have to be used wisely, with love, with respect for others online.
Okay. Are there specific guidelines mentioned?
Yes, quite clearly. A big one is to avoid arguments and debates. Focus on attraction.
Attraction, not confrontation.
Right. Share positive, uplifting, insightful content that draws people in naturally.
And the quality matters.
Very much so. They emphasize sharing high-quality content, good videos, reliable sources, authentic stories.
And the overall approach.
Engage. Don't preach. That's key. Create a space where discovery happens through interaction, through encountering the material, not through being lectured.
So if we pull all these threads together, what's the main conclusion from these sources?
It's pretty bold. They view the digital age as essentially the era of global teaching for the Baha'i Faith.
Wow, the era of global teaching.
Yeah. While traditional methods, like visiting homes, still have value, they call social media the greatest tool ever given to the community for this purpose.
The greatest tool ever given. That's strong language.
It is. And they see it as vital for realizing that vision of the earth is one country, the unity of humankind, by making the message accessible everywhere.
Do they end with specific calls to action?
They do. Things like start a YouTube channel, share quotes daily online, host virtual study sessions, actively participate in online discussions.
Basically get involved digitally.
Right. And the final thought they leave readers with really captures the essence.
Which is?
The world is searching, they say. And the goal is to make sure people can find the Baha'i message with just one click.
Just one click? That sums up the accessibility goal, doesn't it?
Oh.
Okay, so let's try to quickly recap the main takeaways here.
Well, first, there's that really striking idea. Social media isn't neutral. It's seen as a divinely purposed instrument for this time.
Right, a tool given for a reason. And second, that this tech enables global reach and speed that was, frankly, unimaginable before.
And they connect that directly to Baha'u'llah's prophecies about communication. It's seen as foreseen.
Third, it's a powerful engine for enabling that core principle of independent investigation of truth.
By making information and community so accessible, so immediate.
But fourth, there's that crucial counterweight, the sacred duty to use these powerful tools ethically, respectfully, focusing on attraction and genuine engagement.
Not just broadcasting, but connecting wisely.
Exactly. So thinking beyond just this specific context, what does this all mean for you, our listeners, as you observe how different groups, faiths, movements, ideas use technology today?
Yeah, that's a great question. Considering the incredible power and reach we've just discussed, based on these sources, and that strong call for responsible, wise, loving use, what are the wider implications?
For any group, really, or any idea trying to share its message authentically and respectfully in this digital world.
It definitely raises some important questions to think about, doesn't it?